have the power to do that. You literally have the power to speak that thing as though it is. If you, hey, look, my mic sounds nice. Check one. Hey, look, check this out, man. I'm real excited to tell y'all this story because I never really talked about it, man. So during COVID. So back during COVID, man, I was working. Everything was fine, but then I'm at my last stop, and my wife give me a call like, "Yo, we gonna have to buy a whole bunch of groceries." They saying that they getting ready to shut down the world. So in my head, I'm like, "Yo, like, all right, cool." I had just got paid. It was a Friday, so in my head, I'm like, "Okay, I'm straight." For the time for whatever it is that's getting ready to take place, we good. So cut a long story short, man, I ended up getting a phone call a couple days later because they ended up cutting our hours. A couple days later, I ended up getting a call from one of the directors, and he said, "Hey, we're going to have to lay you off," or I can't remember the terms that he used, the proper terminology, but basically he just told me like, we got to lay you off. We don't really have we don't have any hours for you, and we'll call you back when we need you or whatever. So, man, shout out to them for that, man. Shout out to them for that. That gave me like a month. Well, you know what? It wasn't really because of the job, but they kept me employed. Follow me here. So, was off for about 2 months, and they sent me to their sister company. Man, listen, y'all. They sent me to their sister company. Greatest experience of my life. Do you know that? Like, man, let's have a moment of silence real quick for all the lives that were lost during COVID. And I just want to say, man, we lost a lot of people during COVID, and it was very unfortunate. I was one of the ones who kind of like still had to work. Like I said, I was laid off for about 2 months, and then they sent me to their sister company, and I had the greatest opportunity of my life over there. Man, I was working an overnight shift. Like, where else can this happen at? The company that I work for, man, sent me to their sister company. They still had work for me. Granted, I was still getting paid unemployment, or I got the little unemployment or whatever, but I was able to go back to work. And some people even said, "Man, why go back when they can just still give you the unemployment?" Do you know all the experiences that I gained? Let me show you all something real quick. Let me show y'all something real quick. Hey, look, my baby scared of it. Listen, this happened to me. This happened to me about. I don't even know why I brought that out because I know he's scared of it. Do you know that I went to this sister company? Man, learned a whole bunch of stuff. We get to this one stop, and it was a crazy stop. And there was like this bridge where we had to make a bridge where we had to take the ramp off of the trailer and like connect it from the trailer to the building. Man, watch this. After COVID happened, or I'm sorry, after I went back to my company, had a similar situation happen. I'm talking about that was like the final straw. That was like the final straw because I was at like 70 hours that week, and my man like, "Yo, we need you to come down here to help with this route." Do you know that after I completed that day, that I was working extra, I was almost out of hours for the week because I'm a CDL driver. Do you realize that after that day, I ended up finding out that I was elected employee of the month. When I go back, I gotta go back to the email, and I could probably can put it up. You know what? I will put it up. But I would. That was. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was why they elected me because of the experience that I got from the other job. Like, think about this. COVID happened. Like, the world didn't know what was gonna happen. Employment happened, but you know what? That employment money ran out, and some people couldn't even get employment. But look, watch this. They sent me back to work after about 2 months. So I had the opportunity to experience what life looks like without work. But I also had the opportunity to go back to a sister company to learn how they do things over there, to now add that to my repertoire, to now add that to the job that I'm going back to. The things that they've never seen because they never had the opportunity to go over there. You understand what I'm saying? They never had that opportunity. So get this. Like, do you realize now how rich I am because of that experience? Man, I was over there for about 2 months, man, working overnights. And I had to deal with it because that was what was on the table at the time. Greatest experience of my life, man. I actually had to, ride in the same truck as a guy. Like we was working the whole day and night together because we had to work and then we had to drive there and drive back. And I think the whole shift probably was like 14, 15 hours a day we were doing. I think it was about 14, 15 hours a day because we had to break up the drive and legally we both couldn't do the driving just based off of our logs. And that's just how we had to do. One of us will be asleep on the way there, and then the other one will be driving. But get this, get the perspective that I have while I was working. I had the opportunity to see people. I had the opportunity to still see people in these buildings. Do you understand that the perspective that I have, and this ain't no disrespect to nobody, the perspective that I have is different from somebody who stayed in the house all during COVID. It's some people who didn't even leave the house, man. I'm talking about people who was just freaked out. Now, I don't know what would have happened if I would have told them, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to leave the house because it was people. I found out. I found out when I got back to work, when I went back, it was people who they said, like, hey, you were supposed to go over here too. And they told me, oh yeah, man, I'll turn that down. Man, I'm so glad I ain't turned that down. Like, I'm so glad I ain't turned that down. Shout out to the company, man, for allowing me, giving me that opportunity to not only still get paid, but get that experience. Now watch this, scratch the pay, because unemployment was still giving out good money. You feel what I'm saying? There was no way to lose. So I could have turned it down just like everybody else, but I'm like, you know what? I didn't even have it in my mind that I had the option. I just thought it was my only option. But there were people who turned it down. I'm so glad that I was naive. I'm so glad that I didn't know that I had the opportunity as well. I don't even know if I had the opportunity, but I'm just saying that there were people that didn't go. Do you imagine the perspective that they don't have? Oh, I heard about that company over there, man. Yeah, they terrible. Well, I had the opportunity to work for the company for a few months or a couple months while my company was still trying to figure things out, and they still brought me back. And you know what else? This is something else that's crazy. Do you understand that when COVID first happened, man? Like, I was my anniversary had just happened, and I was getting my oil changed. Do you know that I think my fuel filter went out on me while I was in the bay? I'm talking, this is right when COVID happened. This is right when they first cut our hours. Me and my wife, our anniversary was coming up. So I was living check to check. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I was living check to check right before COVID happened. And I didn't know what I was gonna do. I had the truck towed to the shop to see what was wrong with it. Hopefully it wasn't nothing but a starter or alternator. My man said it was a fuel filter. And they had to change the straps on my tank because it was an older truck. Came out to like $650. Man, that was money that I didn't have. And I ended up getting a email from my 401, the company that hosts my 401k. And it was pertaining to something totally different. But I'm like, yo, I forgot all about this 401k. I forgot all about that. The company matches me with the 401k. Let me tell y'all something, man. I had money in my 401k that I was able to borrow from a worldwide emergency that I had no idea was coming. You know who helped me get that? You know who was matching me? You know who some of that money was and some of it wasn't? Mine. The job gave me some of that money. Like, they was matching me. Had a nice little amount in the 401k that I was able to pull from until the unemployment money kicked in. Because that unemployment money ain't kicking in for about a month. You know, they did pay me the little back pay or whatever. And let me not be disrespectful calling it the little. I can't remember how much they paid me at first. Like, it might have been like $3,000 or something like that. The first go round. The first round that they sent the money out. But, you know, I had the money that I had from my job, that 401k money, man, that people like, man, forget that job. Like they matching me. Like trying to match the company. The company hired me. Like, you trying to match? Yeah, we trying to match. And they matched me, and COVID happened. They laced me. I had a job before COVID. COVID happened. They laid me off, but I still had the money that they gave me through the 401k that they didn't have to give me. They didn't have to match me nothing. They sent me to their sister company. I had the opportunity to learn real life experiences during COVID. You know, I'm not lying. COVID happened. Everybody know that COVID happened. Everybody knows this was a real live thing that was going on. They was talking about it on the news every single day. Don't go to the grocery markets. Wear your mask. Like, this was a real thing that happened, that I had the opportunity. I made it through that. Now, I did get sick. I caught COVID myself. Now, actually, I flu-like symptoms, man. I had flu-like symptoms. That's what I had. I had a real bad case of some flu-like symptoms. But my point is, life during COVID, man, was actually pretty great. You know, and get this. What if I didn't even have a job to begin with? They wouldn't have gave me no unemployment without me having to file on some scamming type stuff. And I don't do that. Like, I ain't about to put that on there, because you know that I'm not looking down on nobody. The reason why I don't be on that type of stuff is because I'm just afraid of that might come back on me. And then just too, you know, I wasn't raised that way. You know, I was raised that, you know, you don't take from other people. You work for what you want. And that's just what it is. But man, all this happened during COVID, man, and I wasn't prepared. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't prepared before COVID happened. I didn't know that was gonna happen. Like I told you, I was living check to check. I was living check to check, and boom, COVID happened. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but thank God that I still had a job. I didn't even know that unemployment was gonna happen. One of the last stores that I had went into before I was laid off, my man even told me, like, yo, bro, make sure you put in for this. So by the time that it was able to roll out, I was already enrolled. Man, just blessings. And all this happened while I was at a job, man. I honestly don't even think that no one even realizes, like, if you had a job during COVID, I bet you it was people who still were complaining about that. They treated us bad. Like, yo, the world never knew what to do with it. I just think that people just got false expectations, and they just think that things are supposed to revolve around them. But as I look back over my life, man, I realized that I was sustained by COVID. God was able to sustain me through COVID, man, but I feel that God put me in a position to where I could have a job that I have, to be able to have a job, take off because they laid me off, still go to their sister company and experience the lessons that I needed. And I low key still had the opportunity not to go, because other people said that they didn't go. So I still would have got the money, but this ain't even about the money. I feel that God allowed me to gain an experience that was a once in a lifetime type of thing, because nobody knew that COVID was going to happen. So I had the opportunity to gain all this experience while having this job, man. And it was just so much of a rich experience. And right after COVID, hey, look, I was feeling like LeBron when he won that ring in the bubble, man. They gave me the unemployment, man. Oh, my bad. They gave me the employee of the month. Feeling good about that. You feel me? Yeah. They gave your boy, yeah. Hey, look, they gave your boy the employee of the month, man. And I was so proud of that, man, because you got to think. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you the negative mindset that I had. When I first got to this job, man, I was looking up at that board. Like, man, it was just I just felt negative about it. I'm like, man, it just seemed like you got to just do above. Like, you got to just do too much to get the employee of the month. I kind of like talked myself out of it. It wasn't until 2.5 years later. What I said? It wasn't until 2.5 years later they made your boy employee of the month. This was July. Man, that was such a great feeling, man. And what made it feel even greater was the experience that I had just came out of. Not even knowing how I was gonna pay my bills, to finding out that I got some money in my 401k. Then they ended up sending out the unemployment. And then they ended up sending me back to their sister company, where I then said, you know what? Let me reset myself. Let me create a budget based off of this amount of hours, based off of a 40-hour salary. Let me create a budget based off of that. All things that I learned while working at this job during COVID. This was the opportunity that they laced me with, and now the perspective that I now have because I actually had the opportunity to work during COVID. And where did I get this opportunity from? The job. So listen, man. All I'm trying to get you to understand is like realize where your blessings coming from. Realize that the world that we live in now, it's not enough just to have money. You have to have experiences. You have to been live through some things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about living through something, complaining about it, and not really like learning the lesson, but really like living through something and actually extracting the things that you learn from those things and using those things and applying them to your everyday life. Now I'm realizing, like, you know what, man? I know that worldwide disease or whatever that thing was that happened was worldwide, but man, things still needed to get done. Things still needed to get done. Do you know what? What else too? Watch this. Do you know the perspective that you have to have? My company, the company that I work for is $1 billion corporation. Like they couldn't just shut their doors. Like the people who we service, we couldn't just shut their doors. Do you know what? It was people who worked at nail salons, barbers. Like all these people had to shut their business down because they weren't deemed as essential workers. Do you understand the mindset that I now have? Do you understand the mindset now that I'm like, you know what type of industry am I going to go into now as a career? Listen, man, if you're under the age of 30, like man, I'm not saying that you just got plenty of time, but if you're under the age of 30, you need to be trying to figure out what is it that I can do that's going to allow me to either pivot into the next industry, or it's going to, for the next 30 to 40 years, I'm good, or for the next 10 to 20 years, I'm gonna be making so much money that I'll be able to capitalize off of that. And if this thing go down, I've made enough money that now I can fund a new business venture, allowing me to pivot into the next industry that may not even be booming, but may be stable enough for me to get into. And it's not too much of a learning curve. I can figure it out and set myself up for retirement. Like that's what this thing is all about. Everybody thinking you got to just work at a job for the rest of your life. No, bro. Get the experiences that you're going to get. How do you going to do that? By being present at work, not spending the money that you're getting, because you know when you broke and you just struggling, you struggling to pay your bills, you can't really be present in certain situations, in certain scenarios, because your focus is over here. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. Meanwhile, we got life experiences going on and you can't even enjoy those experiences because you broke. You feel what I'm saying? So all I'm trying to get you to understand is like, yo, I was able to work during COVID. Imagine you being the person who didn't work through COVID and you collected all of this money and you not even realizing that, hey man, this was a worldwide epidemic. This was my excuse not to work. Let me tell you something. As dangerous as that thing was, we couldn't shut our doors. Like as dangerous as the world, this thing was worldwide. People was dropping dead all over the world. As dangerous as this situation was, we could not close our doors. Yeah. Do you know the type of mentality that I now have from that? Oh man, what do I need to get into? What do I need to do? Watch this. What do I need to do to be able to serve the world when it's my turn? When I'm good, when I'm sitting on a nice cow, what else can I do? Like what if I was just straight up couple M's through COVID and I was like, you know what, man? I'm able to figure out ways that I can serve people, because there comes a point where it ain't even about the money no more. It's not even about the money. How are you serving the world? And I feel that was the experience that I learned by working during COVID, man. I feel like I have so much now to give. Like I actually seen what it was like. I seen how people were acting. I seen how serious people were or weren't taking it. You feel what I'm saying? I'm learning the type of people that are placed in the world. Dangerous. I now know those things. I now have a wealth of knowledge because my job allowed me to work during COVID. My job paid me unemployment. My job paid me the 401k. So now during COVID, I'm once the unemployment kicked in, all the bills was good. So now I'm comfortable. Now I'm content. Now I'm able to focus my things on those which are good, those things in which are pure. I'm able to focus on the good things. I'm able to realize, like, you know what, man, I'm in a great situation. Like, I can do so much. I can focus. I can extract things. Like, man, do you know every day that I was going to work, I was just so joyous and great and just, man, this is fun. I was having a great time because we was working. We was working hard. I wasn't too focused on what was going on. I had my headphones in, jamming, still get money. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. I was still able to work during COVID, still getting money, still seeing people, still being able to interact. Man, that was the greatest opportunity of my life. And imagine if I was a person, no shade, that was working at a beauty supply or a beauty salon or a place that closed down. I wouldn't even have the experience that I now have. There's people who think like, man, there's no way I would have went outside. No, bro, it was possible. You kind of want to go outside to get the fresh air. Well, I don't want to be around that. Man, people that got antisocial off of COVID. Like, man, I learned so much, man. And I'm just so happy about the experience because I just feel like most people looked at it as a negative situation. And I had to live through that thing, live through it. I'm now still living through it. And there are a host of experiences that I now have to share based off of something that the world had fear about, including myself, man. When I first got sick, I didn't know how my body was going to react and respond. That I didn't know what was going to happen to me, but I was able to make it out, still have my job, still like I had my wife. God was good to me during COVID, man. And I'm just grateful for that. You know, I had some people in my family that passed away, but hey, God is still good. Like what my man said at work, hey, life is good. Life is still good. And you have to realize that. So, hey man, are you going to be naive and not acknowledge the good that your company has done for you? Let me tell you something again. I like to remind people, like, they don't just treat me the best. I'm not just like the favorite there. You understand what I'm saying? But I do realize the goals that I have in life. Listen, one thing that I do realize is it wasn't personal, but the job allowed me to work. They did me a favor. They gave me experiences that I now can share with my kids. Oh, Dad, you work during COVID? Yep. Imagine them going to school, talking to their kids and talking to the other kids, and their parents just telling them lies. I now can tell my kids the truth, in which that I felt so many people lied to me. I now can give my kids and whoever else needs to know the truth, the real truth about what happened. And that's what really all this is about. People keep thinking, oh man, why you keep talking about a job? No, bro, this is not about the job. You missing the big picture. The job is just the genre. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the genre. What I'm trying to get you to understand is real life skills that you can now use. Real life skills that you can learn at a job for 2 years that can set you up to be doing whatever it is that you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Now I have the experience to always be able to say, I worked during COVID-19. I worked during the coronavirus. I was there. And that feels so great. And I had that opportunity because of my job and because of their sister company. I got a wealth of knowledge, man. Are you going to be that next person? Are you going to be that next person that had that wealth of knowledge? Or are you going to be the next person that's going to job hop or quit because of how you think they treating you as unfair? The heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? Who can know it? I'm scared of that. There's times when I say things or think things and it's like, yo, hold on now. Pop say, hold on now. You got to second guess yourself. The heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? So I'm just second guessing everything, man. And I'm trying to get what I can get from whoever, whatever, and any job, because I want to be set up for the rest of my life. And I want to be able to share truth, genuine knowledge to my family, to my kids, and to whoever else is a foster child out here in this world. Rather you got a parent or not, rather ain't nobody talking to you or not. I want to be the vessel to be able to share real life information with you. And so that you can know that it's possible for you too. So that you can know that you can pass go and collect your 200. You feel what I'm saying? So you already know what you can do.